Hello and welcome to another edition of the Pace and Space podcast right here on Pick Swap Media, wherever you guys are listening at, on Spotify, on Apple Pods, through our social medias. For myself, Sean Barnard, here with my guy Sam Oshtry as always, and another welcome guest with Sean Brace making a return to the program. So Sam, I'll start things out with you. How are we doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon right here?
Great. Merry early Christmas. Couldn't even get the words out, boys. Always great when Brace is on the program. Like a weekly appearance, I guess it's looking like, which is great for us. So welcome back. What the hell?
Like Rudolph. Like Rudolph, boys. I'm ready
to go. Is that how you hang the Christmas lights?
That's it. Exactly. This actually, I got this for Christmas years ago. It's actually a great present. You know, fits on the forehead. Boom.
If you're like hiking at night, yeah. Sure.
Hiking at night. You need it outside. Great for Halloween trick or treating. That's why they're on the. That's why it's on the desk right now. But yeah, boys, great to be with you. Of course, Sixers got 2 games, one tonight, and then the day after Christmas, correct?
Friday. Yeah.
I was looking forward to talking, of course, some hoops with you guys. And we got some fun drama to discuss and a lot of other odds and ends to get into. I love the big topic, too, as far as Christmas wish list. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are officially past the 1/3 mark of the NBA season, which is pretty crazy to think about like that. The season just flying by like that. And I also absolutely love that this is a crappy NFL slate for Christmas because this is the NBA's day, damn it. This is the NBA's day.
Great take, Bernard. I can't believe the NFL tried to steal this day from the NBA. It's always been Christmas is for basketball. Forget the NFL. This is really the only time, I guess, in a while that it's landed on a Thursday where they can put a big slate. All the games are awful, so nobody, and they're on streaming services, so nobody should be watching the NFL. It's a day for hoops. Everybody should be watching basketball. And I guess, like, in a couple years when the Christmas is on a Tuesday, you can't have NFL games on a Tuesday. So it can't be an every year thing where the NFL is on Christmas. But when it's a Thursday, they're going to take advantage of it.
They're going to figure it out. It's the NFL, man. I know the
Tuesday. I mean, they don't care about the players. Give them one day of rest in between Sunday and Tuesday.
I 100% agree. I think that is the likely pathway right there. But Brace, where are you at on the Christmas conversation there? What will you be tuned in for?
Well, look, I was saying this to somebody the other day, and like honestly, I don't know if he was all that old, and all love and respect to you two young guns, but I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the take that everybody the cliche was the NBA season doesn't start till Christmas, right? Yeah. You guys are familiar with that take?
Yes.
Well, I said it to the kid, and he was like, season starts in October. What are you talking about? I'm like, is this serious? Anyways, maybe he was being sarcastic, but bottom line is this. It is an ugly NFL slate filled up with nothing but backup quarterbacks at best, and maybe some third strings, if I'm not mistaken, for the Vikings. Yeah. It's brutal. For me, the NBA has a couple good games. You get Wemby, you got OKC. I didn't mind it when the Sixers were playing. We had a good stretch there that the Sixers were on. But
huge win last year on Christmas. That was the best moment of the season.
Was that over the Knicks?
Celtics.
Oh, yeah. I was like, damn, was that the Knicks?
Yeah, because they all played. Wasn't that like the only game pretty much that Paul George, Embiid, and Maxey played? Yeah, that was huge.
Caleb Martin had a huge moment. He hit like 5 threes or something.
I would love to go back to your Twitter that day and read your tweets where you probably thought that was going to launch some championship run. Am I right?
Absolutely. You were absolutely right about that.
Oh, man. But yes, I am all for the NBA. It's their day. It's always been that. But the NFL knows. They realize this is an opportunity. I don't really care either way. As long as the games are good, I would watch. But, man, those games are going to be brutal on Christmas Day from the NFL. NBA, I like it.
Yeah, 100% there. And the big topic that we are going to get into today is one Christmas wish for all 30 NBA teams. We got a couple other odds and ends to tie up in the short term. I want to kick things off with Draymond Green because Sean Brace, it seems like you have some spirited takes on this. So it has been another week of Draymond. We see him get his first ejection of the year for basically doing Draymond things, getting into it with Colin Gillespie right there, kicked out of that one. And then last night, storming out the game after an argument in the huddle with Steve Kerr. Sean Brace, where are we at on Draymond Green?
Yeah, I think we go back in time. I'm sure that we've all had this vibe or this feeling as far as Draymond, and it's just time to move on from the Golden State Warrior or for the Golden State Warriors to move off of Draymond. But he has value, and it over the past few seasons, it did feel like if he wasn't out there, they were missing a part. Well, they're 15-15. This team isn't a championship contender currently constructed right now. Draymond's in year 13. Like, is the act not old? If you're Steve Kerr, are you really like, man, this is a guy I need on my team? Like, he got I've never seen that before. I don't remember. I'm sure I have in my 44 years of existence watching NBA hoops for 30 plus, whatever it may be. I'm sure there's been a time where there's a head coach and a player got into it and the player had to walk off. But
I can't think of one
either. But, I'm sure that it gets heated, as he said. But this is all so awful what took place with Gillespie. And if you missed that, it got racial, point blank, calling him white boy and going absolutely berserk. And it's just like, dude, no, there's no place for that. Like, there's just not, because guess what? If it was on the other way, it would be breaking news and people would have been suspended. So he can't be doing that to Colin Gillespie and picking on the littlest guy on the freaking court. Like, come on, dude. He's a bully. I wish somebody would punch him right in his face, because we saw what he did with
Your mic went out.
And your mic cut out for Sean Brace. There you go.
Fired up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fired up.
Yeah,
look. Mm-hmm. It's just picking. He's a bully. He's a bully, and it's just it was an ugly scene with Gillespie. I hated that, man. Calling F you white boy and all that. Like, all right, dude, he's a bully. I wish somebody would punch him right in the face.
This is who he is. I mean, this is who he's been his entire career, for better or worse. And it's like, at this point, it's a tired act, but he still impacts winning in a way where it's not worth it. It's not the player he was, but like, he's still a high level defender. I mean, he's one of the best defenders of this generation, the way he can really guard 1 through 5, switch on to everybody, can protect the rim for his height. I mean, as a leader too, kind of being the backbone of that defense for all those years. So he still impacts winning in a really high way. And of course, the chemistry he has with Steph Curry is maybe the best 1-2 punch chemistry we've seen in a long time. It's funny to me that this sequence of events happened a few years ago, where he was with Yusuf Nurkic, and then it was with Rudy Gobert, and he was choking him out, and all these things happened, and he got suspended for a long period of time. It was like an indefinite suspension. He went to therapy. Then the predictable, the predictable sit down with ESPN comes, where he kind of apologizes, says he's a different person. He has a nice piece. Some ESPN writer writes a really nice puff piece about him in some articles, saying, oh, he's went to therapy, he's a changed person, he's a father, he's really reflected. And it's like, all right, he just does this stuff again. It's like nothing has changed with Draymond Green. And guess what? I don't want Draymond Green to be anybody else other than Draymond Green. This is who he is. It's fun for the NBA, as annoying it might be for a lot of people. And that's who he is. That's for the Steve Kerr situation. Those guys have been together for over a decade at this point. So there aren't a lot of guys who built up trust between a coach and a player where they can talk to each other that emotionally like that. And then there's also not a lot of players who are like Draymond Green, who have those kind of emotional outbursts and is that emotional leader and very vocal about what he feels. And so him and Steve Kerr will be fine. They've been together for over a decade. They're frustrated right now because they're 15-15 and they're just not a good basketball team right now. Certainly not close to a contender. They'll be back in the play-in, but this won't be something that boils over between a highly respected coach and a highly respected player that have been paired together for years.
Yeah, I do like Brace's point about sort of picking on the little guy, because that kind of has become the Draymond Green experience. Like, say what you want about Dillon Brooks, but I kind of respect that Dillon Brooks is picking his fight with the biggest dude on the court. He says, I want LeBron James. I want Kevin Durant. I'm getting under that type of skin right there. Draymond is the exact opposite, that he is willing to punch down in those conversations, which does get old. And I will say, like, the hypothetical that we'll never know the true answer to, but what if Draymond Green was just drafted to like the Atlanta Hawks or something? Yeah. Like, what is his
not NBA a Hall of Famer?
Like?
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I do think people forget in that early stretch of the Warriors run, before KD came and he had to sacrifice a lot, he was a really good offensive player too. And he still is. He still has his valuable role. It's not that he's bad, but he was like a shooter. He was a creator. He did all these things offensively that he just hasn't done over the last few seasons, really since KD got there. You remember that Game 7 in 2016 that they lost? He was the best offensive player for that Warriors team. Like, and he came out drilling threes. He wasn't like the backpack shooter that he is now. So it's really kind of been he's progressed into the role he's had to play. But to your point, he's not a Hall of Famer. Without these championships, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's still such a great defensive player. He still has the same mindset, and he just would have had to have a different role. But he without the championships and those big part because of that backcourt, he's not a Hall of Famer. That's for sure.
I was pissed that they ended up beating the Suns in that game. I was really irked about that one, but got to give credit where credit is due. They were able to find a way to win that game. That's a desperate team right now. I know the Warriors had somewhat success last year, and you're right with the connection of him and Steve Kerr. That's just water underneath the bridge. They're going to be fine. But like it just feels like every single night they're just going out there and something stupid's happening with him right now. And again, this is all built off of year after year. The therapy, like you pointed out, constantly choking people out, kicking people in the balls. Like enough is enough, dude. He's a bully, and he's going to continue to be a bully until someone does punch him in the face. But it's year 13, so I don't know. Will that ever happen?
He picks on people who he thinks are soft. Yusuf Nurkic, he thought was soft.
Yeah,
Rudy Gobert, him and a lot of the league thinks is a soft guy. So he picks on people he thinks is soft. Colin Gillespie is the furthest thing from soft.
Correct.
But still, like you say punching down, you're right. Like he would never do that to LeBron. I know he punched LeBron or kicked LeBron in the nuts, and that's why he got suspended in the finals. But I don't think that was like an egregious act because it was LeBron. He doesn't do that to certain guys like Dylan Brooks. He does it to people who he thinks are soft, and he punches down.
Yeah, and one of several nut kicks that we've seen from Draymond throughout his career. By the way, did you see Jimmy Butler on the Warriors campaigning how he does not want to be voted to the All-Star game? Please do not vote for him. And it's like, brother, I don't think you got to worry about that one. Like I think we're okay. Don't think you got to have that heavy.
I mean, can you blame him though? Like I'd want that week off too. I don't want him playing some meaningless All-Star game.
Sure, but is there any sort of argument that Jimmy Butler should be an All-Star?
No, there's no chance anyway.
Yeah.
In that same like vein of conversation there, KG, did you see what Kevin Garnett said about LeBron and the All-Star game? He's like, don't vote him. He don't want to play. Look what happened last year. Don't vote for LeBron James. I was like, damn, that was kind of a shot.
The thing is, I mean, that was a strange comment from LeBron. Every time he speaks, he's just signaling, I don't really want to play basketball anymore. Like, I don't watch film. I just watch YouTube golf.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
I don't want to play on Christmas anymore.
He was like, he name dropped like Grant Horvath. Like, what? I don't even know who that is, honestly. But
he's a YouTube golfer.
Well, I figured, but
yeah.
But so, and then he says, I don't want to play on Christmas. Like, I'd rather spend time with my family. He never used to say that stuff. He always used to be, it's an honor to play on Christmas. So everything he says kind of signals more that he doesn't want to play basketball. But talk about another guy who has no business being an all-star. LeBron is no case for being an all-star this year. Of course, he'll be an all-star because the coaches and just his pedigree in the league and fans, but even fans are only like 50%. Whatever. He'll be an all-star regardless because of how people perceive him. He has not been anything close to an all-star level player since he came back.
Yeah. All right. I say let's dive right into this Christmas wish list thing, and then we can kind of talk a little bit about each of these teams as we work down the list. So I'm thinking the best way is we go down each conference, go through the seedings. We'll start in the East, move over to the West, hit our number one wish for each team, and then sort of can converse from there. So, Sam Oshtry, you want to kick us off with the Detroit Pistons as your first Christmas wish list. So, to set the stage fully here, one Christmas wish for each NBA team. So, whatever you want to make that as, the floor is yours.
Yeah, we kind of just left it really vague where you can pick a player, a trade, a thing, like something. It's really anything. So, I did all types of different stuff. If you're starting here with the Pistons, I said stop fouling, which has kind of been their kryptonite in a lot of games. They have the highest opponent free throw rate, meaning opponents are getting to the free throw line more against the Pistons than any other team. And so for them, it's just like stop fouling, stop or play without fouling because they're a team that just hacks, for lack of a better term. And it's a lot of their perimeter players like Asar Thompson and Cade, of course, and go down the list. Ron Holland, they have good defenders. Just play without fouling. And that's something that will help them and continue this streak as the number one seed in the East right now.
Brace, what are the Pistons asking for under the tree in your mind?
I want team success when you talk about the Pistons. I want it to be real, and I think they are, right? They looked pretty good last year, and of course the season that they're having so far this year. But when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, are they going to be able to take that next step? I think a lot of us are believing so. But yeah, if I had one wish, how about them knocking off the Knicks to get to an NBA Finals? I think that would be awesome. That series was pretty good last year. So give me the Pistons to have some a little bit more team success than the Knicks this year in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Right now, would you take the Pistons over the Knicks in a 7-game series?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, I asked Brace for a reason.
No.
I knew your answer.
I have the Knicks in the NBA Finals, and it didn't shock me that they were able to put it together and hang the damn banner, would you please?
No.
Oh, stop it.
We don't hang banners for
Oh,
NBA.
come on.
I'm
Dude,
with Brace here.
There's banners up there for the kid, the One Direction kid, who Harry Styles. They have a banner for Harry Styles. They got a banner for Billy Bleepin' Joel. All right.
Well, Billy Joel does like MSG appearances every other week, and he's like 80 years old. He deserves a banner more than anybody.
He hasn't won an NBA Cup.
I mean, respect the cup. And let me just say this. Shame on, because I think this comes back to the commissioner. He needs to enforce these teams.
You can't force the team to hang a banner. He doesn't own the arena.
Dude, if you're trying to make this something of significance, then you got to respect the cup.
Well, this is what I talked about the other day, where this was a FU, a middle finger up to Adam Silver. James Dolan does not like Adam Silver. He has a lot of legal battles going on currently with the league office. He is not a fan of theirs. So that's exactly what Adam Silver wants. He wants the teams to legitimize the tournament by hanging a banner. And what the Knicks are saying, really, James Dolan is saying is, we're not hanging this banner because this is an FU to Adam Silver. You want us to? We're not going to do it. And those guys have a lot of beef. So I don't think it has anything to do with the players or coaches.
Sure.
Jalen Brunson said he wasn't even consulted on it. This is about the ownership.
Well, and like I said, if the league as a whole wants to make this big, and I'm not saying hang a banner, present them a banner, just it needs to be uniform across the board every single year. And now we've had the Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Knicks. We're talking about big organizations there. Like, let's make it a little bit something bigger than what it is. Dude, those Final Four games were awesome. They were awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brace. I would have hung the banner, but I see Sam's point. I do think this is a little bit strategic on the Knicks side of things. But before we get into the Knicks conversation, my Detroit Pistons Christmas wish list: Malik Beasley to be cleared by the NBA and return to the Detroit Pistons. Right,
it's a heavy wish.
I don't know if it is. I feel like we would have heard more if it was going to be the case. Like Terry Rozier, I think should be viewed in much different light. And we'll see. Like ultimately, that's what the fallout. But they were ready to back up the brink truck to this dude this summer. Very close to handing him a massive contract. He was their second best player in last year's playoff run. Now, I think they deserve credit for replacing him with Duncan Robinson. And Duncan Robinson shooting 39.5% from three this year on high volume, doing movement shooting stuff. But there was like a grittiness and toughness that Malik Beasley brought to this team that I thought really played. He played all 82 games for him last year, averaged 16.3 points, shot 41.6% from three. If you can get him back as just like a bonus, that would be terrific for this Pistons team. And I would give the league office a couple calls to see if you can make it happen.
I will say he led the NBA, or he was second in the NBA in three-point makes last season. So his three-point shooting was great. And the difference between him and Duncan Robinson is he's a much better defender. Yeah. And that's where Duncan Robinson kind of is lacking. The Pistons are really deep already. Like guys like Marcus Sasser aren't getting any burn for them anymore because when they're fully healthy, they have a really deep rotation. I don't even know exactly where Ivy fits. Yeah. And so they could use them. Anyone could use them. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going on with that investigation. It just seems like the NBA wouldn't want anybody to touch anything that has to do with where if he's circling the gambling investigation or somewhere with that ring, it feels like the NBA is going to be ultra cautious about that.
Yeah, I think that's true. But I mean, innocent until proven guilty, and he hasn't been proven guilty.
I'm getting a phone call. Chauncey. Yeah, what's the deal? What should we take the oath? All right, yeah, exactly.
You invite you to the poker game?
Yeah. That's it.
All right, well, let's move into the New York Knicks conversation. Sam Oshtry, your favorite basketball team in the world. What is your Christmas wish for them?
A couple things. First, you need Hart's three-point shooting to stay steady, and that's impossible. A big if it can last the whole season. But if he is in that 38% range, that's going to open up a lot for the Knicks, as we've seen how good they've been since he moved in the starting lineup. So that's one. And the other Christmas wish is you really need Tyler Kolek's development to continue. He's been really good for most of the season.
Loved him at Marquette. Loved him.
Unbelievable. And I thought he deserved more opportunity under Tom Thibodeau, but it's just not like Thibs to play younger guys. And so he's a great passer, but he can shoot off the dribble too. He plays off 2 feet. He's like a mini Jalen Brunson in a way, but he struggled this weekend a little bit worse than he was last week, at least. So you need him to develop as a backup point guard, especially when you have injuries to like Landry Shamet and some of those guys. And after Malcolm Brogdon retired right before the season, you need his development because that's going to be important for a depth piece in the playoffs.
Oh, you're going to love mine, Sean.
Let's see it.
You're gonna love mine.
Let's hear it.
My Christmas wish for the Knicks is to start talking about Jalen Brunson as an MVP bleeping candidate and give him the proper respect that he deserves. All this dude is doing is having a career season when
Now when
literally
BJ comes on him.
Who's the Knicks fan on this program again?
I mean, come on already. The fact that he is not even in the top 3 conversation for MVP is absurd. We know who the best player is. We know who puts it on their shoulders. Oh, by the way, just scored 47 in a win over the Miami Heat. Again, just look at his numbers this year. If you thought Jalen Brunson has been incredible throughout the course of his career, he's having a career year this year, averaging 29 points per game. He's 6'2", maybe. And again, yeah, there's a little bit of bias there with the Villanova love and, of course, the Eagle fandom. But at the end of the day, he is not talked about in the right light when it comes to MVP voting. I get it. SGA, you want to give him the award right now? I'm not here to argue. You want to talk about the big man out there in Denver? This is the wrong program to argue about that. I understand. But damn it, he needs to be in top 3, not way out of the voting. If you look at his odds right now, I believe it's 150-1 right now, behind Cade, who's 80-1, Luka, who's 4-1, and plus 180 for the Joker, plus 110 for SGA. Come on, man. That's disrespectful to Jalen Brunson.
Why does he have a better case than Tyrese Maxey, who's leading the league in minutes, who's doing more for his team, who averages more points on better shooting, equal assists right there? Maxey's a better defender and has certainly elevated the roster around him in a more impressive way in my mind.
I love Tyrese Maxey, but you just said we're doing a Christmas wish list in order, right?
Sure.
And we started with the Pistons at 1, and now we're at the Knicks at 2. So
we'll get to the Sixers at 4.
Well,
we're not far.
There's
let me answer the
success involved
question.
with that.
Let me answer the question. You don't win MVPs by being a 6 seed. You just don't. And I'm not saying it's Maxey's fault or anything, but there's different levels to this. Maxey is trying to lead a
brother.
team to
They're in 4th place, brother.
Okay, but I'm just saying they're gonna finish around 5-6.
Hey, raise your hand if you have a Tyrese Maxey MVP ticket.
Yeah,
I respect, Brace. Respect.
All right,
but that's all. That's all.
$5, but you know.
You
By the
gotta
way,
be
your
one
boy
of the, you gotta be one of the top seeds. You gotta be
By
one of
the
the
way,
top seeds to win MVP.
Your boy Nikola Jokic has won MVP as a 6 seed, by the way.
Yeah, him and Russell Westbrook are the only two ones, but
wow.
They put together historic seasons where it was worth it. I'm saying historically, you have to be a top 3 seed. You just do it. And Maxey has to do more for his team right now. He just does. And they're both terrific players, but Maxey has to do more because the Sixers aren't as good and they're just trying to make the playoffs. The Knicks are trying to win an NBA championship. There's different levels to it. And Brunson's the best player on a team that's trying to win a title.
What Sam said.
Sounds like one guy is more valuable to his team is what you described that to me as, but nonetheless, Maxey having to do more for his team. That doesn't mean he's more valuable, I would say, but nonetheless.
Well, I mean, look, like when you look at like Jokic or Luka, like Luka has to do more for his team. He has to do everything for his team right now. I still think Jokic is more valuable on the better team, but just because he has this better surrounding parts doesn't mean he's less valuable than Luka, because Luka has to do everything for a not great Lakers roster.
Fair. We'll put this to the side. I'll give my Knicks Christmas wish right here, and it would be for Giannis Antetokounmpo to say, "I only want to go to New York." That's what they should be hoping for
That's
Christmas.
a good one.
Because that is the only pathway to him actually getting to the Knicks. They're not winning in a bidding war right here. I still believe that they need a 1A guy to actually be the legit championship contenders. I think they need a Giannis to take another leap from a talent perspective right there. It's going to have to come from Giannis trying to directly force his way there. They aren't going to have any say. And honestly, I don't think they're that interested in getting in business anyway. But I went with Giannis being the guy to open that can of worms.
I like that because you're right. The only way that Giannis becomes a Knick is if he demands to become a Knick. Because if that trade even eventually happens, who knows what's going on with that right now. But if he does demand a trade before the deadline and he opens it up to a lot of bidders, the Knicks can't put the best package together. But if Giannis's agent calls Leon Rose and says, Giannis wants to be a Knick, like, let's make this happen, Leon has to make it happen. But at the same time, I don't want to see this Knicks group come apart and be traded. Like, I think this is definitely the best team in the East. And I think once you get to the NBA Finals, you see what happens. I really want to see this East team or this Knicks team finish out the season. And then maybe Giannis is still a free agent, or it's not a free agent, but opens up his trade offers next summer. And then you start considering it based on how this season goes. But I want to see this Knicks team play out because, yeah, you have to do it if Giannis becomes available, but you're sacrificing some big pieces. Like OG Anunoby has been an all-star level player. You obviously have to get rid of Cat. Those would be the two centerpieces of that trade. And how Kolek's been playing, maybe the Bucks want Kolek. So you'd have to give up key pieces where it'll hurt your roster a little bit, but it's Giannis. So, like, you would have to do it.
Mr. OG Anunoby, 2 points against the 76ers, I might add there. But
yeah, I mean, 3 games in 4 nights, 3 different cities. But
none. We'll throw it to the next one. We will continue transitioning. The Boston Celtics next. Sean Brace, what are you putting under the Celtics Christmas tree?
This is easy. Tatum returning.
Yeah.
Right. This is an easy one. And it's for all NBA fans. Look, as a 76er fan, no, I don't want to see Jason Tatum return. Hell no. But it obviously left a bad taste in our mouth last year with everybody getting hurt the way that they did. You never want to see that. And especially Jason Tatum, who is an MVP candidate, who has already won a championship. And again, my bias, I hate the Celtics. I don't want to see them have any success. But as an NBA fan, Tatum healthy this year, back on the floor. I was just reading an update here because Derek White has been balling out, and I was ripping Derek White in the offseason.
Jaylen Brown, too.
Yeah, look, they're doing really well.
Candidate.
Yeah.
There is a pretty good chance that he does come back after tearing the Achilles this year, correct?
Yeah. So me and Sam have been very split on this. I stand 10 toes down. I think he is no doubt coming back this year. Sam has pushed back and said he doesn't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, based on the reports, I'm starting to lean more with you, Sean, that he will come back. I, again, just don't think it's smart. I like putting him into high leverage situations late in the season is just risky right into the playoffs. And I don't know how much better it makes the Celtics because it's not going to be the Tatum that we know returning.
The reason that I say they absolutely should do it is because if you don't, and then you go a whole nother offseason without playing live basketball, we're talking about him going like 18 months without playing like hoops here. And at some point you have to rip the Band-Aid off and work through it. You're right that he's not going to step back and be the Jason Tatum from day one, but you're just delaying the process of getting back towards that if you don't get him on the court this year. If he's ready, if he's healthy and cleared, give him a chance to play.
Yeah, I think you're right because when we discussed it before the season, I was thinking of the Celtics as a team that was kind of hovering around the play-in. And I was like, all right, maybe if we land in the lottery or we're around the play-in and Tatum's coming back, we have no real chance to make a run. Let's just leave Tatum out, have him get more rest and recover. And then maybe we'll get a lottery pick. We don't really care about making the play-in. But the Celtics have been really good, way better than I thought. They're going to be a top 4 seed in the East, I think. So then there's like, all right, there's no harm. Yeah, Tatum it might be hard for him to come back mentally that soon, but there's no harm in bringing him back. You're not expected to win the championship this year anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you. Is that your Christmas wish?
Yeah, that was exactly my Christmas wish list too.
I had that as my top. To throw an outside the box one, what do you guys think about a Jared Allen trade?
He's expensive.
He is. So the deal.
So what are you giving up?
He's got a 3-year, $90.7 million deal that starts next year. He's got a $20 million cap hit for this year. The Celtics have a $22 million trade exception. I think the Cavs are sort of in blow it up territory. I love the Myers Kita. I
don't think the Cavs are in blow it up territory. When you're trading, I think you're right. They're definitely considering trading Jared Allen. You have to have serious return for that. You can't be in blow it up territory.
So if we're talking like an Anthony Simons, and I like all the Celtics young guys, man. Like if a Hugo Gonzalez doesn't get you fired up if you're Cleveland, like
Jordan
Hugo,
Walsh.
Awesome. Yeah, Jordan Walsh, Josh Minot. Like they've got a lot of guys that I would kind of be willing to take a gamble on if I'm Cleveland. I do think they're kind of close to blow it up mode.
So the Celtics are one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the NBA. And they're actually really good at offensive rebounding, but their defensive rebounding stinks, and they don't have a lot of front court depth. So they do need the front court depth. I think, again, it's something next year. Tatum completely healthy. Your core is going to be back. Let's look to build on our front court depth next year when the Cavs might be more inclined to blow it up, and there might be a more trade market for a center. But I do like the fit with Jared Allen in Boston.
Interesting. Yeah, certainly possible. I hope it's the case, and that'll tell us a lot about the Celtics' intention if they do go down this path. Let's stick right here in Philadelphia with our 4th-seeded Philadelphia 76ers right here. Sean Brace, your number one wish for the Sixers.
Oh, Joel Embiid, 2 healthy knees. I'll steal it. I'll take it. The big man, I just don't see it. But at the end of the day, it is fun when he does get out there and he's able to produce. We saw the one game. He was awesome. He was electric, and it was a game that he needed. But consistency is key. It's unfortunately he can't be consistent because he is dealing with 2 bad knees, and he will continue to. That's the only thing that is consistent about Joel Embiid right now is just the fact that he is going to be dealing with this for the entire future. But with the new contract, 2 new knees would be an unbelievable Christmas wish to happen this year. We'll see if Santa Claus can make that happen in 2 days.
Yeah, I mean that's like me wishing for Sydney Sweeney for Christmas. So let's just ignore that one. 2 healthy knees is never happening. What I had for my wish list for the Sixers is secret or Space Jam secret stuff at halftime, so they start playing better in the third quarter, because this is the worst third quarter team in the NBA by a huge margin. Minus 22.5 third quarter net rating. The second worst is the Pelicans. They have a minus 14.5 third quarter net rating. And they actually played really well against the Knicks on Friday night in that third quarter. And that was a big reason why they were able to win. But that was, again, a really tired Knicks team. You think, oh, maybe they turned the corner with the third quarter, come back against the Mavs the next night. And yeah, they won the game. Third quarter was still awful, got outscored by double digits in that quarter. So I don't know what's going on in the third quarters, but the Sixers need to figure it out in the third quarter. It'll give them a much better chance to not play as many close games in the fourth.
Yeah, well done. I like to think outside the box there. I tried to do the same approach. The 2 names that I came up with as like potential trade candidates, because I don't want this massive move this year. I'm pretty cool with playing out this season. But the 2 sort of outside the box names I came up with were Jay Huff and Jonathan Isaac as trade targets right there. Both risks. I love Jay Huff too. And like, that's the type of guy, how I got here is a vision of who's a dude that can play alongside Joel Embiid and space the floor a little bit as well. He is a guy that can rebound, can block shots. I don't think the Pacers are moving him. I think it's probably unlikely that they'd be willing to deal him, but they want to throw those out. But the honest answer is absolutely Embiid's health right here. I'm cool with just seeing how this season goes. I do think the Sixers will absolutely have some level of postseason appearance, whether that is playing playoffs. I think it's probably a top 6 seed in playoffs, and that says more about the state of the East than the Sixers directly right here. But if you get a year where the health luck does break the Sixers team's way, and you have Joel Embiid healthy, you have Paul George healthy, which history does not tell us is the right bet right there, you have to give them a puncher's chance in the postseason. And if that does not happen, we get a postseason where I just get to watch Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe go to war, I still see a ton of value in what that means long-term. So I don't want to trade Jared McCain. I want to continue to him getting back to who he showed to be last year. And he is showing some positive progress lately. I'm pretty cool with this Sixers team just sitting back and seeing what happens this year.
Let's stay on the Sixers for a minute, because I have a trade proposal. And I'm interested what you guys think. Who says no first, I guess I'll propose it as. It's a trade between the Sixers and the Clippers. And you look at the Clippers right now, they have to blow it up, but they don't control their 2028 or 2029 picks. Who controls those? The 76ers. So they're trying to get those, or they want to get those picks back, or some good picks, because this Clippers experiment's over. What's the point of keeping Ivica Zubac? Sorry to mispronounce the name on the Clippers at this point. If I'm the Sixers, I'm calling and I'm going, take Joel Embiid, take back your 2028 pick. We'll keep the 2029, which is a swap, but take back your 2028 pick. Take Joel Embiid, because he's a negative asset at this point, so you have to attach something to him. And we'll take back Ivica Zubac, and you're going to have to take a few other contracts like a Bogdanovic and some other guys. But we'll take back Zubac. Zubac can be a guy that can grow. He's not super young, but he's relatively young. He can be a guy that can grow as your starting center. He was almost an all-star last year. Yep. Almost an all-NBA guy last year. He was that good. With this backcourt that you have, he's a reliable center, both defensively as an anchor, as a screener, as the roll man in the pick and roll. He's in the short roll. He can pass. I really like Zubac. I think he would be a great fit for the Sixers team in the long term. And the other thing is, you're finally out of the Joel Embiid business. At this point, I would give anything to be out of the Joel Embiid business. But you're getting back a great center, and the Clippers are getting back a really valuable asset for them.
And oh, by the way, he fits in nicely because he just rolled his ankle and he's out for the next 3 weeks. So bring him on over to the 76ers. But yes, it pains me to say it, but it's the reality of where they're at. I don't think Sean's going to agree. But if you can get out of this Joel Embiid contract, which they just gave him, I think you have to. But I don't see that. Like, if you're the Clippers, why? Why are you taking that on? Because you're gonna have this contract for the next 3+ years.
Yeah,
and he's not playing.
It's tough because what do you actually like, what are you doing with Joel Embiid? Which is nothing. You don't want him on your team, but you're kind of going in tank mode, rebuilding mode at that point. And Joel Embiid is a good guy to have around for that.
Yeah,
So you're getting a pick back, which is what you want. You need some picks for the future. You have no future right now.
They better be planting some trees to be paying for all that out there. But I wouldn't do that trade. And the reason, Sam Oshtry, is I think you're underselling. I think you're underselling how valuable that Clippers pick is. Like, I'm content with sitting here right now, having Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe as the clear foundation of the future, and that potentially being like the third guy in the mix. And just even looking ahead, like we're talking about at that point, like Maxey's going to be 28, VJ Edgecombe will be 24, if my math is correct, right here on the fly. And then you can add sort of that third piece. There's a real world where that is a top 4 pick pretty comfortably right there. I'm not giving that up, even if that does mean you hang on to Joel, because as much as like it's frustrating, dude, it's not as disruptive as it's made out to be. He comes in and goes. Like, the team knows who they are without Joel.
He comes in and goes. That's the problem. He doesn't even show up on the bench in these games where he goes.
But do you think it's been a problem? Because I kind of don't this year.
I mean, it hasn't been a problem because they've done a really good job kind of just ignoring it, which
guys
is what they really struggled with last year. But
it was a problem last year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's still just why still be in the Joel Embiid business? And I get it. Like, he's been here for a decade. He means a lot to Sixers fans, even though it's been largely disappointing in terms of the talent that he is. Morey is not afraid to cut loose with some of these guys, though.
Then why did he give him the contract?
Because he was coming off a year where he looked like the best player in the league when he was healthy.
Well, then Morey needs his head checked, because
it's done a lot of good, though. Like, I will say, I hear you on that critique. Daryl Morey throughout the large duration has been excellent. Like, that's the one thing you can push back is the top.
I'm not firing Daryl Morey, no, but this contract could very well cost him.
I mean, yeah, it's not great.
But Barnard, in terms of your retort to the pick thing, that is a very valuable pick. You're right. My thing is kind of like, you don't always know how the lottery is going to play out. True. Like, you don't know how things are going to go in a few years. And yeah, you get rid of the 2028 Clippers pick, which is a valuable asset. But you keep the 2029 swap, which if the Clippers are really bad in 28, they'll probably be really bad in 29 too. So you keep that swap, and maybe that's a top pick. Like, as long as you keep one of those assets, I'm fine with it.
The thing that I think my opinion is that's like kind of different from others is I just don't see the harm of Joel just kind of being this version of him. It's not ideal, but
I think they're worse offensively when he's on the floor, and the numbers don't back it up. I know they're around the same offensively. I would rather watch this Sixers team and have this Sixers team operate with him off the floor offensively.
Well, you get to do that often. Like,
I know, but when he comes back, it's like a disturbance, especially late in games where it's like you're still running it through him instead of relying on your backcourt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. Like, it's not a rush to this guy's actively undermining the franchise the way I think it's sometimes talked about. It's the Maxey and Edgecombe show. There's no doubt about that. The
damn right
transition of power has been transferred here. But you got to rock with the contract. So I don't know. We'll move it on from the Sixers here to keep it rolling. I'll kick things off with my Orlando Magic wish here. For me, it would be a Franz Wagner mega offer right here. I do think that when push comes to shove, Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner are not built to maximize each other. That I think they have too much overlapping skill sets. I personally am more of a Paolo guy. I think he is the 1A guy when things come to that. I think in league circles, people would disagree with that. And there are people that would prioritize Franz. If you can get a top dollar trade, and there's always teams, we've just mentioned a couple, trying to look for that top tier upgrade, I think the Magic should look to jump on that. I think this is a chance to maybe sell high on a guy that who knows what he looks like in a different situation.
I kind of agree with that. I think you have to move on from one of them. I'm still a Franz Wagner guy. I've just been disappointed with Banchero recently. I do think you have to move on with one of them. It's pretty obvious that the Magic and each guy is better when one of them's off the floor. And that's been a trend the last couple seasons for whatever reason. But I just went with, for my wish list, is shooting. This is still one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA. And you just can't be that inept as a three-point shooting team to make a run in the postseason. And part of that is because of those two guys, where both of them are really non-3-point shooters. Jalen Suggs, up and down 3-point shooter. Desmond Bane's been much better over the last month than he was the first month of the season, but still, 3-point shooting is what they need.
I'm going to go health, and I just saw Suggs picked up a little bit of a knock, and I know he hasn't been the best NBA player, but I did love Suggs coming out of college. And look, they brought in Desmond Bane. The expectations were pretty much uplifted because of some of the moves that they had this offseason. I know they're floating around 500 right now, but health, if they could stay healthy, give me a solid season from Paulo Banchero, start to finish. He stays healthy. We know why he was the number 1 overall pick. Really, really talented. And I would like to see him have an opportunity in a 7-game series to put a team on his back. I probably don't think the Magic are going to have much in them as far as playoffs going up against some of these top-tier teams. But it would be nice to see them knock somebody off and have an upset. But it all revolves around the health. So stay healthy.
Yeah, I do think there's a chance where this team could find its stride and make some noise. They haven't really looked like it consistently at any stage yet this year, but I still see the vision for what they can be. It just hasn't quite fully clicked. So I'll keep the door open on the Orlando Magic here. Let's transition to one of the more interesting teams in the NBA, the Toronto Raptors here. I've been very critical of them. They currently are the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Sam Oshtry, I'll start with you. What would be your Christmas wish for the Raptors this season?
A star, some type of offensive engine. Yeah. This team since Thanksgiving, they got off to a surprisingly good start. They've been the worst team offensively in the league since Thanksgiving. So it's just been ugly for them. And part of that is because RJ Barrett's been out and they've dealt with some injuries. But like Brandon Ingram's a really good player. He can't be your offensive engine. They need some type of offensive star, and they just don't have it.
I got it. Make a move for Zion. Ooh. Let's get all the former Duke players involved. All right,
talking about guys who aren't healthy.
Yeah,
he was great last night though.
Yes, he was. That's that's a little risky. I don't know what to say about Toronto. I don't think that I had them in this spot. And again, it's early in the year, but Ingram's been playing really well. RJ Barrett, I was a fan of. So I'm kind of having some fun with it, but at the end, like, okay, if Toronto is going to do something, I'm right there with you, Sam. They need a little bit more when it comes in the scoring department. So I'm joking with a guy like Zion because of the health and everything he brings to the table. But is there somebody that they can go all in on and would be an ultimate difference maker? Again, I think you have to be really careful because is there one guy that's going to lead you to a championship? Probably not. So is it worth investing all this draft capital over the next few years? And I'm not familiar with what they actually have, but they're in a good spot right now. And nobody thought that they'd be having this team success right here where they're at currently.
Yeah. And by the way, their financials are a mess. Like diving in, they are spending a ton of money on a very mediocre team, to be perfectly honest. The name that I came up with for a potential star trade, and this is saying star, I guess, pretty broadly here, Domantas Sabonis, man. I do think that they have the defensive infrastructure to make up for his shortcomings. Yeah. He is a guy that can be like an engine of the offense, run things. They can do some pretty interesting stuff with some off-ball cuts from guys like Quickly and Scotty Barnes and things like that. I think Sabonis is a workhorse. He's a guy who competes, brings it. I don't think he is really a championship winning caliber of player, but I don't think this team is, and I think this makes them better in some extent. So I think the Kings are looking to move him. I think you could build a kind of intriguing package right here. What do you think of a Sabonis trade?
I like that. I really do. I think he'd be a good fit for this team because they already are a great defense and they pressure the ball relentlessly. And that can kind of make up for some rim protection shortcomings that they might have with Sabonis. And I think he'd fit in offensively. So I would love Sabonis on this team.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what, man, Sacramento Kings, do you think that they wish they could turn that's there you go. That's the wish list there is they turn back the hands of time and don't fire Mike Brown, correct?
Well,
don't trade Tyrese Haliburton.
That's probably at the top of the list. Right.
Yeah. It was dumb at the time too. Like that was for Sabonis was what that deal was for, which don't get me wrong. Like, and there was that like fun stretch where they were the beam team and having a little bit of success when it was Fox and Sabonis as the guy. But Haliburton was like bought in from the second he got there. Like, this is my long-term home. We're going to make Sacramento a winner. Then they just dealt the dude a season and a half into his career. Like, that was insane at the time. It's even stupider now looking at what he's blossomed into.
And they have the worst record in the game?
Down there, I believe.
One of them, the Nats Wizards, I think, are a little worse.
Jeez, like that is atrocious, man. They got 7 wins on December 23rd.
Yeah, looking for a point guard was the report yesterday. And by the way, De'Aaron Fox, also a guy who was on that roster. But nonetheless, we'll keep it rolling. We will get to the Kings.
Yeah, there you go.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, as I mentioned, I'm pretty down on this team. I think you guys would be surprised, but my Christmas wish, I would fire Kenny Atkinson.
What?
You got to do something. You have to do something.
What, you just use this coach as a scapegoat? That's what bad franchises do. You don't just use a coach as a scapegoat. What the hell is that going to do?
A spark, a change of voice, something. The team looks like they absolutely hate each other, Sam. Like,
they probably do. The coach ain't going to fix that.
Sure. But you also can't do anything from a trade perspective. Like, you can either go into full blowout. Like, is your option trade Donovan Mitchell? Because that's pretty close to the top of the list in my mind, is that you're heading down that pathway right there. I'm trying something different. I'm bringing in a new voice. I'm giving another chance. That's all I could come up with.
I have a Darius Garland resurgence because he's been really bad since he came back from his toe injury to start the season, and he actually has been playing well the last couple games. He had 35 the other night, 27 the other night, but his efficiency is really poor. He's shooting less than 40% from the field this season, so he is just not a great shot maker right now. It's pretty obvious he can't create like he used to because of that injury. And so I just, you need some type of resurgence from him. The other thing is they also don't have Max Strus right now. You need Max Strus to come back. And then DeAndre Hunter, again, great game last night. He's only shooting 31% from three, and that's his worst three-point shooting stretch of his entire career. So it's kind of just been ugly all around. Guys are not performing at the level they were last year when they had the best record in the East. And so you kind of just need these guys to play better and get healthy. That's all they need at this point.
All right, mine is easy. And again, it's we know he's going to eventually retire, and I want him to do the swan song in a Cleveland Cavaliers uniform.
Wow.
Trade for LeBron James. Trade
Wow.
for LeBron. Have him end his career in Cleveland. It would only just seem right.
There's no golf courses in Cleveland this time.
It's he's gonna sign up for a couple of months. He's gonna be in a Cleveland uniform. He's gonna go around to each arena, and we're gonna present him a gift. And maybe the team success might be a little bit better than the Lakers. I don't know, a little bit easier in the East, that's for sure. And we're talking about next year. But yes, make a move, end LeBron's career in Cleveland any way you can. But we know the ownership and LeBron don't really see eye to eye, so that's not going to happen. But and I'm sure LeBron likes LA as well.
Does Bronny come with him?
He has to.
His package deal.
He has no purpose on any NBA team unless his father's
God.
on.
I'm gonna feel bad for him when his dad retires, man. I don't know what happens to his career from there. Although I will say he's looked okay lately in a couple of stretches that I have caught him. So who knows?
In the G League?
Yes, primarily. He gets a couple runs with the Lakers too. Every once in a while they'll throw him around.
All right.
LeBron
and the Cleveland Cavs.
I like it. How about the Miami Heat right here? I had a tough time with this one. Sam,
I got out of the box one. What they should be wishing for Christmas is their pick back in the Terry Rozier trade, and which is what they're begging the NBA for right now as we speak. But the NBA probably will not relent, and it's really unclear. I've read a lot on it, and it's really unclear how much the Hornets and the NBA knew about a pending investigation when the Heat made that trade, but the Heat obviously were not made aware of it, and they probably would not have made that trade if they were made aware of it. So if they got that pick back somehow, then that would be a good asset that they can use in a potential trade for Giannis when/if Giannis becomes available. So they need that pick, and just to get off the Terry Rozier contract as a whole. Obviously, Rozier suspended because of the gambling incident, but will never play another game in the NBA again. Innocent until proven guilty, sure, but he'll never play another game in the NBA again. That's for sure. So I would want that pick back if I'm the Heat, and that's what they should be wishing for.
By the way, Adam Silver standing on this, we can't come to a decision until like a trade is agreed upon, and then we'll investigate that, is garbage. Like, dude,
it makes no sense.
Like, you're the commissioner for a reason here. Make a call on how this should be. I personally feel that they probably shouldn't get it back. That I think it's unfortunate. I have some sympathy for them, but I have a hard time like kind of talk myself into they should get the pick back here, unless of course you can prove that the Hornets absolutely knew something and were hiding things. So I don't know. It's tough to fully decode that, but ultimately I feel like they shouldn't get the pick back, but a clear decision should be made.
All right, I'll go. And there's only a few players out there that would move the needle for a lot of, casual NBA fans when it comes to trade deadline. Move Tyler Hero. Give him another opportunity somewhere else. I know he's banged up, but he's a stud. He's a baller, and he's definitely a guy that I enjoy watching. So if you were to put him on a team, again, it's like Major League Baseball with the Dodgers. That's how I look at Oklahoma City. Maybe not the same payroll, but just we all know we're playing for second place. But if you put Tyler Hero on a team like San Antonio, on a team like the Knicks, like
Rockets,
the Celtics, the Rockets. I mean, the Rockets got so much talent. But yes, we know that he is a damn good player, and I think that would be really fun. Again, you'd have to get a ton of return. I understand that, but Tyler Hero being dangled out there, I think would be pretty cool.
Not a bad thought. I had not considered that one. I sort of went more of an addition angle for the Heat right here. And for starters, their metrics are bizarre. They lead the league in pace. They're 16th in offensive rating, but 5th in points per game. They're 3rd in defensive rating, but 21st in opponents' points allowed right there. So they're getting up and down the court. They're running the pace and space offense. What would Jonathan Kuminga look like in that style of offense right there? Because I do think the Warriors is as bad of a system as he could possibly play in. There's very clear friction between him and the franchise. He feels like the type of Miami Heat, let me take a buy low opportunity on a guy with talent right there. And I could see it working with Kuminga. That's something that intrigues me a little bit.
I like that because he's a guy that's really athletic and can get downhill. And
Yeah.
that's what the Heat offense does. And that's what the Heat need. Heat are 2-8 in their last 10 games. So they're struggling after a really great start to the season. To Brace's point about Tyler Hero, I think they're holding on to him for a Giannis trade package. He would be the center of a Giannis trade package. And I think the Bucks would be intrigued by that because the Heat are going to have to decide between Norman Powell and Tyler Hero. And I think if you ask them right now, they'd probably be leaning towards Norman Powell. So I could see eventual trade package, and the Heat are going to put together a good one for Giannis. Tyler Hero will be the centerpiece of that.
I like that. Another interesting team here, the Atlanta Hawks, who Jalen Johnson has just been far and away a revelation for them this season. Some Trae Young weirdness still remaining in the air. Sean Brace, I'll throw this to you first. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, what's your number one Christmas wish?
That's a good question, man. It's a team that I really can't put my finger on, and it does seem that they're dealing another team that's dealing with a lot of injuries at the worst point in time. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to skip on the Atlanta Hawks. I'll back down to you.
Pass? I didn't know we were gonna pass.
Look, I'm not gonna bore people here and try to bloviate. I don't have much for the Hawks. Where are you guys at?
I'm just get Trae Young out of town, and we're at that point where
Yeah.
he is going to be a free agent after the year, and the Hawks didn't give him a contract extension for a reason, and I don't think they will give him a contract extension or try to sign him some mega max deal that another team will. Jalen Johnson is the best player on this team. He's your future. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been good. I like him starting when Trae Young was out, but I want him in the starting lineup alongside Trae Young. Instead, they're starting Zachary Rissacher. So I'm of the mindset, just get Trae Young out of town and build with this young core that you have now. And you have the Pelicans' first-round pick this coming draft. And Pelicans have been playing well, but that's still going to be a top pick.
Yeah, my brain went a couple of different places for this one. For starters, that was certainly a thought that popped to mind. I do think this is Jalen Johnson's team, and I do think he looks good enough to be the best player on a contending team. It's the leap that he has taken this season is unreal. After doing the same thing last year, he's far better than I imagined could be the case. Shout out to Jalen Johnson. He's that dude. I also thought, what if just a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, which there's still the weird virus stuff going on with him, and I thought he really brought something. He's a good player when he's healthy and available. We have not got that at a consistent rate. And then what I ultimately landed on, Sam Oshtry, what do you think about the thought of selling the Pelicans pick high right now? Here's the case. I think there's too much talent on this Pelicans team for them to be permanently bad, man, and they have too many directions. I think that there is a chance that you can maximize value. If you call up the Utah Jazz right now, and you are the Atlanta Hawks, and you say, we want Lauri Markkanen. We're going to give you Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Kennard, and that Pelicans pick. That is a chance at a top pick for the Jazz. Do you consider that?
No chance. Lauri Markkanen is an all-star.
Sure, but the Jazz won a top pick, man.
Say it again.
The Jazz won a top pick.
Yeah, they're going to have opportunity to get it through themselves in the lottery this year. That's what they're going for, and they want to pair that guy with Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George, who's playing really well. I think Lauri Markkanen is worth way more than that. I think the Jazz are actually going to hold on to him, whether that's right or wrong, but he's worth way more than what you just offered me. I'd laugh in your face if I was Danny Ainge. You're giving me a Kristaps Porzingis who hasn't been healthy, he's been ill. Who knows what the sickness is? He'll probably never be healthy ever again. No. That is a bad deal for Lauri Markkanen. I love Lauri Markkanen. He's a great player.
I mean, you can talk me into an additional pick right here, but I don't think it's that crazy of an offer. Lauri Markkanen, by the way, is now 28 years old. Like, what is his timeline really connected to if they get AJ DeBansta or if they get Cam Boozer, whoever, Darren Peterson, whoever the case may be? You kind of got to start the youthful cycle, I feel.
Yeah, but they've just been in that for a few years now. At least you have this all-star level player to potentially build with and around. Like that.
How is that done for them?
Well, it's done nothing because they haven't had a lot of lottery luck. Like they got the 5th pick when the top 4 picks in this draft last year are 4 like all-star level players already, and they got the 5th pick. It's just unlucky.
So why don't you want another bite at the apple in this trade if that's the case?
because Lauri Markkanen's too valuable where you just don't know exactly where that pick will land. You just don't. Like, I think Lauri Markkanen's too valuable.
Maybe. I guess I would just float that out there. We'll back it up to conceptually here rather than that specific trade of maybe sell high on the Pelicans pick.
Yeah, no, I like the mindset because you have a team that's kind of like ready to win now in the East.
Right.
With Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and all these guys. So I like the mindset. I can't think of a trade partner right off the top of my head right now.
That's fair. But I do think the Hawks should consider just going for it. The East is open. You guys are kind of close. Give it a chance. And who knows where things take you.
They might be the favorite if they got Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, I think I think that's a fair take right there. And I mean, I would like for them to at least pick up the phone and make that call right there. Now we'll see if it happens. We'll transition to another team that I have no clue what to make of, the Chicago Bulls. Brace, do you have an answer for this one?
I do. And I want to see Giddey break Russell Westbrook's all-time season record for triple doubles. That's my wish. I think Giddey has 13 right now. The record in a season is 42. Russ, I want to see Giddey. What happened to the Bulls? They were really good at the beginning of the year. What?
Yeah, they became the Bulls again.
They became the Bulls. Yeah, that's the issue.
But they don't play defense.
Yeah, and Giddey's playing well.
And that's my wish list. It's just defensive infusion. Like, they just need some type of defense. One of the worst defenses in the league, and it's just ugly where they don't have a lot of guys especially on the perimeter who can guard. But Giddey's been great to Brace's point.
He's been balling, man. He averaged 8.9 assists, 9.2 rebounds, and over 20 points per game.
And he can shoot now.
He's a badass. What was that trade with OKC? What'd they give up?
Caruso for Giddey straight up. So it was a win-win. Win-win.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right, my wish list for the Chicago Bulls I came up with would be a Nikola Vucevic trade, and that certainly helps out your defense angle, Sam. Here's the case for me. He's 35 years old. When you look at that roster, there's one other player on the team older than 28, and that's Javon Carter right there, who's not really a important part of that overall team. You've made some progress with sort of this youthful movement. The Ayo Dosunmu knows, the Kobe Whites, Josh Giddey obviously being a huge part of this, Matas Buzelis, who I still believe in a major way right there. I think you lean all the way into this, and I do think Vucevic is a guy that some contenders could talk themselves into. That's an option for us. That is a guy that's an upgrade at the big man spot. He can shoot the ball really well. He's got his flaws as a player, but I think you can get something in return for Vucevic, and I would work those phones.
Vucevic is a guy who's developed into a real stretch big where he can shoot the three now. So he has use on a lot of teams. And you're right, he doesn't really fit their timeline.
Like a couple teams I'll throw out, if any of these make sense to you, as far as a contenders looking for a big man upgrade, the Celtics, the Magic, the Heat, the Cavs, and the Warriors are all teams I thought they would at least consider a deal like that.
The Warriors would be interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, 2011, long time ago. Sixers drafted him 16th overall. I loved him. Loved him, man.
Did he play one season?
He was involved in the Bynum trade, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was here longer than that.
Yeah, I thought he played a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Any wish list for the Bulls for you, Sam?
Yeah, I just said defensive infusion. That's
my fault.
Defense is awful. They just got to get better defensively.
Fair. All right, another mystery team, the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the obvious answer to me is a monster Giannis trade return here. Do you guys have something different?
Nope, same thing.
Keep Doc. Keep him forever. He is one of the best sound bites. We continue to play him. Shout out to Ray Dunn on the show, man. He has a lot of fun with the Doc comments. I think it's pretty damn good. So keep Doc forever.
Doc, who continues to stand 10 toes down, saying Giannis has not requested a trade. He wants to be here forever, which, known truth teller Doc.
Honestly, what you should be wishing for if you're the Bucks is for him to request a trade. Just get this over with. Stop having to keep drag on.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, let's transition to the Charlotte Hornets next. Do we have a wish for the Hornets, Sam Oshtry?
Yeah, get rid of LaMelo Ball. He's been playing well, and I really like how these three have been coming together, which is Brandon Miller, Con Knueppel, and LaMelo Ball. I think the LaMelo Ball experiment's over. You have Con Knueppel, who's an all-star level player. When Brandon Miller's healthy, I think he's an all-star level wing. It's just you got to get a new point guard in, and I'll take anybody, like a Trae Young, anybody at this point.
Anybody feels strong to me, but
not anybody, but someone within reason. I'm just over the LaMelo Ball experiment.
I'm all in with Con Knueppel. Wow, what a difference it's been from the draft conversation. And look, I get it. His play speaks volumes, and he's hitting from outside, and he's delivering on everything we thought. But man, just the mentality that he is bringing and the sound bites and everything he's saying, that's what you need. That's the difference in that organization that has just been disgusting for decades. They've had zero success. So finally you get a guy that's backing it up, obviously with play on the floor, but I think is doing something different behind the scenes as well and being a leader. Build around him. I'm not saying that he could be an MVP candidate, but that's definitely a guy for that type of specific of a franchise that has struggled to find that backbone. Concaniple's that dude.
Absolutely. And he loves basketball. This is a guy who just listens to basketball podcasts in his free time. He loves basketball that much. So
did you listen to Pace and Space? What's up?
Yeah. Get our downloads up. Please
send it to him.
Come on, Colin. You're welcome to. But to your point, I hear the frustration with LaMelo. I kept my wish is just make a play-in push. I think that's a realistic and fair goal for this team is to make the play-in. They have enough talent. They have enough guys. There's really one team in the Eastern Conference that's trying to win games that is not going to qualify for the play-in. There's no reason why this team can't push teams like the Bucks, the Bulls, teams like that in the bottom tier of it. I would like to see the Hornets just streak together a stretch of wins and make some sort of push. All right, we'll keep things rolling for a team I have no hope for them making a play-in push. The Brooklyn Nets right here. Sam Oshtry, you are far more optimistic about their draft return than me. What is your wish for them at Christmas time?
Yeah, it hasn't been great so far. I think we have 3 teams left, and it's the Nets, Pacers, and Wizards. Am I correct?
For the East,
I put all 3 of them with the same wish. You just want the top pick in the draft. At the very worst, you want a top 3 pick in the draft. Those 2 teams are going to be in heavy tank mode, even as the league tries to crank down on tanking in the next few years, especially the Pacers, where you have a bright future when Tyrese Haliburton comes back and hopefully comes back the player he was when he got hurt. So you adding a top pick in the draft would be great. So all 3 of those teams are just wishing for a top pick.
Yeah, I think we can lump these together. Brace, any takes on the bottom 3 of the East right there?
Yeah, well, Michael Porter Jr., just put a microphone in front of him before the game and after the game. And what a season he's having, averaging 25.6 points per game. Loved him coming out of college. I thought the Sixers should have taken a chance on him. If you remember all the players that were injured and you could stash them, this was the one guy that I wanted. I know, revisiting, and obviously that was a long time ago. But I love his game, and I know he's a little bit of a head case, but it's pretty cool to see he's doing some big things with Brooklyn. The team stinks, but he's having a good season. So put a microphone in front of him.
Dream guests on Pace and Space. I think he might be 1A. I would love to have that guy on
the White Whale.
Yeah, that would go crazy.
That can be our guy right there. My goal or my wish for the Nets is absolutely to trade Michael Porter Jr. because I do think he can still play winning basketball and help this team. And more so than that is I just got to create opportunities for the young guys to play, man. They took 5 first-round picks in this past draft. I sort of perceive that as this is throwing as many darts at the dartboard as possible. To list out the production for these guys, Diego Demons averaging 9.0 points, 3.4 assists, 3.2 rebounds. Drake Powell averaging 6.0 points, 1.9 assists, 1.8 rebounds. Danny Wolf, 8.1 points, 4.2 rebounds, 1.8 assists. Ben Sarah, 5.4 points, 2.8 assists, 1.6 rebounds. And Nolan Traore, who's played just 7 games of the actual NBA team right here, 2.1 points, 1.4 assists, 1.0 rebounds. Right now, it feels like all 5 of those darts they threw at the dartboard missed the board completely. And that is a brutal way to be as a franchise right here. You got to get some semblance of life for these guys to show something. And you got to create the opportunity by getting a guy like Michael Porter Jr., who's going to shoot the ball every single possession and is actually doing on pretty high efficiency right now. Get him out of there to create the opportunity. The last 2 that I'll just tie up, or do you have a point on that?
I was going to say, it's been tough, the Igor Demon thing for me, because that was one of my guys in the draft, and he just can't get downhill at all. And three-point shooting's been better. He hasn't really been able to showcase the passing, which is probably a little bit on his teammates, but he was the best passer in the draft. And it's especially rough when you see this rookie class. It's like one of the best rookie classes in a while. Yeah. So that's where it's really tough for the Nets, where you had 5 first-round picks and you have all these rookies outperforming expectations, being awesome players, and none of your guys are. So, yeah, the Nets are really into hit in this next draft.
Yeah, 100%. The Wizards, I threw in a Chris Middleton trade, just sort of a similar logic that I think he could probably help somebody, a contender could buy in, and they should be trying to lose as much as possible. You got some, Brace?
Go back to the Bullets.
I like that one.
If we're going to go back to names, go back to the Washington bleeping Bullets. All right, let's go.
I'm cool with that. I'll also add the Pacers. I'm wishing for bad luck if I'm the Pacers. They're 6-23. I still believe in this core. I like the Aaron Naismiths, the Andrew Nemhards, the Obi Toppins, the Pascal Siakams. Tyrese Haliburton's obviously the engine of this team. When he returns last year, I think they get right back to in the mix in the Eastern Conference. If you can get some bad luck, lose a lot of games, and be helped out with one of these high impact players, I think they have a very bright future for that Pacers team. So I'm not panicking. I'm accepting this gap year and do believe that they can. We'll be right back in the mix next year.
You got 2 picks. So who's the third coming out in the draft? You got Boozer, you got DeBonza, and who's the other one?
Darren
Peterson, Kansas.
Who I would take at 1-1 right now.
The thing is, he's been hurt.
Wow.
He's been hurt all year. We really saw like 5-6 games from him, and then he's been hurt. He came back. He didn't look good. Now he's hurt again. I just haven't seen enough.
He looks when we have seen him, man, he looks special. Like I'm talking like best guard since Kobe type of special.
That's what people are saying. I mean, I hear those comparisons all the time, but they're usually BS. Nobody will ever beat him. But
baby Jokic out here.
Boozer's the real deal too. Look, all right. Look, this is the year to have one of those top 3 picks. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move over to the West. The Oklahoma City Thunder. For me, it was just health. Do you guys have anything as far as a wish for them? Because I do think this team healthy wins the championship again.
All I had was offensive rebounding. They're not really a good offensive rebounding team. It's like their one weakness, if you want to call it that. But this team really has no weaknesses. So, yeah, just stay healthy and you'll win the title.
How about my wish? That they lose a couple games and make it interesting, right? They're not going to beat the record. Like, it was always – they just lost the other night. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't. Are they on pace? How many wins are they on pace?
It's probably right around there, but I don't. They just lost the other night, so I don't think that they're going to be currently on pace. Yeah. I would just if they lose a couple games in February, make it dumb it down a little bit. I think you're going to involve a lot more people as far as watching is concerned because look, it doesn't help when you get a guy like Stephen A. out there. It's like, man, it's boring. You know, and nobody really respects
because he's never watched a game.
I know. But at the end of the day, they were dominating. So my wish, lose a couple games in February and March, make it interesting come April.
By the way, they're 26-3, still on pace to break the record currently. And counterpoint, I find it more interesting that every single night it's like, can a team give them a loss? Yeah. Like you're gonna get the best effort. Can this be the night to snap whatever winning streak that they are on? So I kind of like that they are the gold standard.
Huge week for the Thunder, by the way. They have the Spurs tonight and then again on Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They just lost to, so
that's right.
A fun week.
Yeah, definitely. And I was my last wish for them. I would say if you want to get really greedy, maybe a Chet Holmgren leap a little bit. I think he's better than he's able to put on tape right now and just playing within the context of the offense. In another situation, I think his stats would look pretty nutty. Not that 18.7 points, 7.8 rebounds, 1.5 blocks on 39.6% three-point shooting is any form of bad, but I think there is more to him than he's been able to show. So maybe unleash that a little bit. Let's transition right to that San Antonio Spurs team. One of my favorite to watch across the league all season. Sean Brace, what would your wish for them be for Christmas?
Just continue to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? if they can be the kryptonite, which they beat them in a game that OKC wanted pretty bad in the semifinal. You got 2 opportunities, 2 cracks this week, one on Christmas Day where everybody potentially could be watching, right? Like if they do beat them on Christmas Day, that's definitely going to make some shockwaves. So yeah, look, if there's a team out there, I think we are in agreement that Denver could potentially be some, kryptonite to them. But, maybe San Antonio holds the keys to beating Oklahoma City. That would be my wish.
I got a Wemby take to get off my chest.
Uh-oh.
We're crowning him a little too prematurely.
Ooh, I like this because I kind of agree.
What he's talked about right now, like he's some top 4 or 5 player in the league, and he's not. I mean, he's right around the 7-8 range, but there is a gap between the top of the league, and I'm putting Brunson in the top of the league, and then Wemby. There just is like defensively, Wemby's unbelievable. He's the best defender we've seen. Any of us have seen in any of our lives, and that's probably for guys who are in their 60s too. He's that impactful defensively. Offensively, the Spurs are better with him off the floor than on the floor. Like his touches are still further away from the rim than I want to see. And he can do things on both ends that nobody else can do. He's the most unique player in the league in that regard. But he's still not at the level offensively that some of these other all-time, or not all-time, but just great players right now in the league are. And so we're crowning him like he's already at that level. He's not. He has a way to go. He's getting better at getting to the rim and shooting away from the rim, but his post touches are still further away from they should, and they produce shots that are further away from the rim than they should for someone at his height and his length and all that. So Wemby's a great player. He's going to be an MVP of this league, defensive player of the league, if he can play 65 games consistently, but he's not what everyone is like everyone is just in awe every time he plays. Like he's already a top 3 player. He's not.
All right, couple counterpoints to this. For starters, the shot selection is miles better this year than it was last year.
100%. Not where it needs to be, though.
Sure, 100%, but he is certainly moving in the right direction there. The offensive stats being better when he's off the floor, that's a diluted stat because when he had that injured stretch, the Spurs just cranked up we're running the fast break, we're running and gunning, we're doing all this all the time.
That's part of it.
It's going to settle over the course of the season. They had a hot stretch of basically scoring 140 points a night. That isn't sustainable for the length of the season, and I am comfortable that those stats will look much differently at the end of the year. Victor Wembanyama is a better basketball player than Jalen Brunson, man. This isn't even a conversation.
Right now, he's not. He's not. Right now.
One's got the NBA Cup banner and the other one doesn't. All right. Hang on, Sean, because you guys will argue about this for the next 60 minutes. Yes. You want to get your views up. Clip what Sam said, because I that's news to me that you're telling me that this team is better offensively with him not on the floor.
And
yeah, that's
Sean, I will say that was also the case before he went down for those 11 games and the Spurs went into 3. That was the case too.
I don't remember ever hearing anything remotely close to that, which is great. I love it. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Sam. That's just news to me. And obviously you pay attention to this stuff more than I do. So that's one. And I think people would love to know that because he is discussed. I saw a meme the other day, and I guarantee you saw it as well, where who's getting up from the table, and you had Kobe, Larry Bird, Jordan, Magic, Kareem, the best of the best. And it's like, who's getting up from the table so Wemby can sit? Wemby ain't done shit, bro.
I didn't see that.
He ain't done shit. No one's getting up. Steph, Bird, Jordan, Magic, Kareem. You talking about Kareem needs to get up?
Come on. And you know who's the biggest? You know who's the biggest earn it guy? He loves saying, "Oh, I want to see them earn it." It's you, Sean Bernard.
Yeah, you're right.
You're always saying, "I want to see you earn it." And Wemby can get there. I'm not saying he won't get there, but let's see him earn it. He's not. I would rather have Jalen Brunson on my team 10 times out of 10 right now, and I think the rest of the league would agree for right now this season, the rest of this season. I just would
10 out of 10. But
which team has a better record of the Spurs and Knicks right now? Out of curiosity.
Wow, 21-7.
Maybe the Spurs have a game or two above them. I don't really care. 8 of those wins were without Wemby, you realize. So it doesn't really help your case.
I mean, their guards are sick, for the record. Like, I love all
team. It's a really good young team. This team is going to be competing for championships. Don't get me wrong. We're just crowning him early. That's all. Yeah, let's let him earn it.
I don't necessarily disagree with your main overall take here. The Jalen Brunson being better than him at basketball is just factually incorrect.
Right now, I'd rather have him on my team.
34% from downtown. Where would you like that number to be? Where should it be?
Above 35 is all I need.
Okay.
Yeah, like 37 would 38 would be great. Yeah.
Well, I'll stick. My wish for the Spurs is a win now trade, and I'm bringing Michael Porter Jr. to San Antonio. And the trade that I put together: Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, Kelly Olynyk, and a first-round pick. I think that's a haul that the Nets would take as far as a return. I don't think Keldon Johnson's like that important to the Spurs. He has some nice flashes. I overall like him as a player, but I certainly prioritize guys like Devin Vassell. I think Harrison Barnes has played his role at a really high level. Their guards, I'm certainly not touching. I think having a shooter like Michael Porter Jr., who, by the way, is shooting 40% on 9.1 3-point attempts per game while getting like dirty looks this year that are like self-created. That's ridiculous stuff. I would love to pair him with a guy like Wemby. I still think, he's an NBA champion. He's played a significant role in a Nuggets team that had all that success. I would love to bring him to San Antonio.
It'll be interesting to see if the Nets do sell high on Porter, but I think you have to, because this is the best stretch of basketball of his career, and it just doesn't really matter for you, but it could matter for another team. I think they'd like to get a better first-round pick. Like the Spurs' first-round pick is going to be really bad for the next few years, so I think they'd rather get a better first-round pick, but we'll see what the market is for Porter.
Yeah. All right, let's transition to Denver Nuggets, who I know has Nikola Jokic, who you guys believe is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, all balled into one. What does this team need for Christmas?
I'll go first because, Sam, I want to know your thoughts a little bit more deeper than mine. I'm going to keep it simple. Jamal Murray healthy. Jamal Murray is, because you can talk about they need to add another player, which would be what? A fourth option. You got Gordon, you got Murray, and you got the Joker. Like, those are your 3 main culprits. And if you want to talk about maybe adding depth or whatever, that's why I leave it up to you guys. But for me, I'll keep it simple, and it's Jamal Murray remaining healthy and be that playoff beast when it comes around, because that's a dude that answers the bell. He's a badass on the floor. And of course, that's a great 1-2 punch with him and Joker. So if he can remain healthy, I think that would be the difference and could potentially beat Oklahoma City in a 7-game series.
I had something similar, which is kind of the return of their starters and the health thing too, which is Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun have been out and missed a significant amount of time. So it's a short-term goal or wish. You want them back soon. And same thing with Jamal Murray, where he's playing the best basketball of his career. His true shooting percentage is the highest it's been in his entire career. All of his averages are up. If you just need him to stay healthy through the stretch of the season, it's kind of a short-term goal. If this team can be healthy, I think them and OKC is an all-time 7-game series that we're going to watch this year, and I'm hoping for that.
Don't forget about the San Antonio Spurs, my friend. We will see. We will get there.
Don't forget about the Rockets.
One of our many recurring debates throughout the season. We have a lot.
The Rockets are going to playoff success. The Rockets are
in the mix too. That's the top 4. I think absolutely in the West right there.
Yeah,
the top 4 in the league, I feel. But nonetheless, my Denver Nuggets take, I would flirt with a Peyton Watson trade. I like Peyton Watson. I think he's a good player. It looks unlikely that they're going to be able to re-sign him financially. You can stack his contract with Zeke Naji and get to $12 million. You can find some pretty solid players in that price range right there. I would just at least look for one more piece. A guy that I came up with was potentially Jared Vanderbilt. I don't love him as far as a fit perspective, but I do think like that could be worth taking a chance on. But I would at least play around and see if you can get some sort of notable return in a Peyton Watson deal.
I wouldn't hate that. I think he's a good young player, and I think there would be a market for him.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Los Angeles Lakers next, which I have a couple ones I really like here. But Sean Brace, I'll start with you.
Man. I want to go JJ Redick to get Coach of the Year respect.
Wow. Okay.
I love JJ's approach. I think he's a player's coach too as well, but he
getting shouts up the other day.
He knows how to handle the media. Yeah, like it can't be easy being LeBron James's coach. It can't be easy being the LA Lakers coach. But it is easy when you got a guy like Luka, and that's the difference. Obviously, they're 19-8. If you were to say, give me a wish right now for Christmas, I would say, give me something for JJ to get a little bit more respect for Coach of the Year.
I got 3-and-D wings. That's just what they need. LeBron's not that because he can't consistently play defense right now. They don't defend. They're one of the worst teams in the league defensively. We talked about their upcoming downfall a lot in the last few weeks, Sean, and it's kind of here with the tougher schedule coming up.
Yeah.
This team doesn't play defense. They're not good enough defensively with Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Luka on the floor together. And they just don't have enough 3-and-D wings, which is what Luka had when the Mavs made a finals run with PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr., when those are the two primary defenders of the point of attack defense, and you could kind of hide Luka. There's no hiding him because of who his teammates are right now. So that's what they need. And until this season is kind of over and you can start looking at free agency and get off LeBron's contract, I don't really see a way it happens in the middle of the season, but that's what they need.
Yeah. My number one wish for the Lakers for Christmas would be for LeBron James to care. It doesn't feel like he really does, man. It really does not for this season. Sure. If you get him to buy in, you're not going to get a better addition anywhere in the marketplace than that. I haven't really felt that way about LeBron yet this year, whether he's answering about YouTube golf or just talking about all the comments that he has made right there. That to me is the number one upgrade. The number two I throw out there, you got to trade Dalton Connect, man. And I like Dalton Connect. I feel like things are broken since that Mark Williams trade. Like it is tough to recover from when you agree to trade a dude and then all of a sudden the paperwork falls apart, the medicals fall apart, and he's just back sticking around the organization. I think you got to give him a chance to move on somewhere and get something in return.
Is he good?
What was that?
He hasn't played
Dalton Connect good?
He hasn't played well.
Because I thought he was good, and I don't think he's been good.
I think he's still a great shooter and a good scorer. He can't
I would
defend.
take a chance.
Yeah, like I think there's something there if he regains his confidence. Sean's right about that trade. I mean, the Lakers tried to trade him. They didn't want him.
Agreed to
and then
trade.
he had to come back, and they probably will try to trade him again at some point before the deadline. He's not really playing at all in JJ Redick's rotation.
He's in G League.
Healthy, yeah. He has. I think he's played a little bit in the G League, but he's not making the Lakers real rotation. I just thought you're not really getting much for him. He's very unproven at this point.
Yeah, so I threw that out there. Another under the radar team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are coming off back-to-back conference finals and seemingly get zero buzz for the outlook in the West. What should their wish list be for Christmas? For Christmas, outside of just respect, Sean Brace.
I'll start. Yep, and I'm gonna take something similar to like you said about LeBron caring. We know how good Anthony Edwards is. Like he's an absolute beast. He's leading the charge, 28 points per game. It just feels like, man, if he would take things a little bit more seriously, he could be the face of this league. And I know that that's an argument that's been had, but the skills are there. And then we were talking about the All-Star game. Somebody was bringing up the fact that, it was Durant on a podcast where he was like, man, he was shooting lefty. He said he's going to shoot everything lefty. Like, come on, man, you're supposed to lift this league up to new heights and carry it, carry the torch for what was in the past. And we know what he's capable of on the floor. I just think mentally a little bit more from him, and that would only do wonders for the T-Wolves' success. You know that.
This was one of the hardest ones I found. I don't even know exactly what they need. They're missing Nickeil Alexander-Walker a little bit, so they could use some guard depth because Mike Conley can't give you much anymore. But I like the lineup when Anthony Edwards is playing point guard and Dante DiVincenzo is at the 2, and he's been really good this year. Jaden McDaniels, and then Julius Randle, and then Rudy Gobert, obviously. So I don't know if they need that point guard. They could use more guard depth where it's like Terrence Shannon Jr. is playing some nights, like Bones Highland's playing some nights. Just good players, nothing great, but I guess guard depth. But this team's really good. They're not at the level that some of these other West contenders are, but they have made the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years, and people kind of forget that because they're an under-the-radar team.
Yeah. I don't love the exact trade I came up with here, but I do like where my brain's at. It's a deal with the Houston Rockets for the Timberwolves to bring in Tari Eason and for the Timberwolves to send away one of their guards here.
You're really trying to get rid of Tari Eason.
Yeah, man, you've been trying to deal him 3 straight shows now.
Every trade.
I love him. I think he's awesome, and there's really not a role for him on this Rockets team. I mean, he plays, but he's not an important part of their team right there. I think he's a steal for a team around the league, whoever does go out and get him. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves could be that team. If this is a Bones Highland interest the Rockets, Mike Conley, if they think he has something left in the tank from the point guard perspective, Terrence Shannon Jr. But Houston really needs guard. Minnesota's got a lot of them. That's a trade that I sort of think could make sense.
I don't hate it. Tari Eason is an interesting player because I do think he would have a really valuable role in a lot of teams in the league.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Cam Whitmore, who is with Washington now, but he was with the Rockets and kind of was just end of the bench guy who didn't play much, even though I thought he was a talented player. It's hard to really know with Washington, a team that's trying to lose games. But I think Tari Eason is kind of in the similar boat as Cam Whitmore was.
Yeah. Well, let's transition right to that Rockets team. This is one of my favorite selections that I have here. But Sam Oshtry, I'll let you lead off with Houston right here.
Yeah, their wish list should be a better clutch time offense. They are 6-8 in clutch games, sixth worst clutch net rating in the entire NBA, and their clutch offense is the same as it was last year. That was the whole thing about bringing Kevin Durant in, is you were going to have a guy to go to late in games and a guy you can rely on. And Kevin Durant he has been that in moments, but the rest of the Rockets haven't. Teams are doubling Kevin Durant and other Rockets aren't producing. Their clutch time offense, and as a team in the clutch, they are just not playing well right now, and that has to be solved before the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Alperen Şengün in the stretch.
Yeah.
And I love Alpi. He's been awesome this year, but there's been a lot of him sort of, clumpy flumping around and making things happen down the stretch. Brace, where you out on the Rockets?
I was going to go something with Reed Shepherd, but I'm going to go with the team perspective. And, man, they're third favorite to win it all, only behind the Nuggets and Oklahoma City Thunder. So that tells you that the Vegas odds makers do think that the Houston Rockets have the opportunity. I feel like he made his own bed, but a dummy would say that Kevin Durant isn't one of the greatest players in NBA history. Come on, man. He's one of the best shooters, the size, he backs it up. So we know what took place all those years with the Golden State Warriors. For Kevin Durant at this point of his career to go to Houston and win an NBA championship, looking back at that trade where everybody just stopped and the hype and, it would back it up. So I just think that, give me some team success and Kevin Durant to win an NBA championship this year with the Rockets.
I like that. I think a step towards getting there. I still think they need help with the guard position. Yeah. I don't think that they want to take a massive swing. The Kevin Durant deal was their big trade. A low-risk deal. What do we think about a free agent addition of Chris Paul to the Houston Rockets?
I mean, that doesn't exactly move the needle for me.
He doesn't do anything on the floor, though, right?
Yeah, he's what, 41 years old? Come on.
He played 82 games for the Spurs.
He did, which was impressive. Limited minutes.
That's all they're asking for in Houston.
But would he really be a part of that clutch time offense that they need? Also, a guy who would not. I mean, Ime Udoka runs a tight ship.
Udoka choke his ass out.
Well, I think that's what Chris Paul wants. Like, I think that was the root of the issue is Chris Paul was more of a hardo than the Clippers were cool with him being.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, you're probably right about that.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he obviously played there before. It's a low
I don't
risk.
hate it. That just doesn't move the needle for me. But I don't.
And I don't think he's gonna like change the grand scheme of how they play basketball. But I do think there's certain matchups, certain lineups that he would really benefit. And having a guy as an option as a true floor general, I think would be really effective. So that's my wish list for the Houston Rockets. I think it's worth picking up the phone, giving it a chance. Let's transition to the team on the other end of that Kevin Durant trade, the Phoenix Suns right here, which is another interesting team in the NBA. Sean Brace, where are we at on them?
Oh, man, this is easy. And it's the Dylan Brooks brigade, man. It's just buy into everything that this guy is doing.
Hell yeah.
Have the Memphis Grizzlies been the same team since he has left?
No, not at all.
They have not. And all I know is this guy is, I don't want to say must-see TV, but damn it, if he's playing, I'm intrigued. So the Suns, I didn't really have too much expectation for them this year. But it is funny to see them going out there and Dylan Brooks is all up in their face. Loving to see what Gillespie, were talking about him earlier. He's making a mark for himself, man. That's really cool to see on a serious note. But I'm Dylan Brooks up. I've always been a fan of him coming out of Oregon. Maybe I was a little bit more over the top because of what he brought onto the floor. But, man, there's definitely something about him, and he does not back down. So whatever Dylan Brooks is selling down there in Phoenix, I'm buying.
I still will never forget he will not be back to the Memphis Grizzlies under any circumstance tweet from Shams Charania there. But yeah, Dylan Brooks vindicated here.
People, but do you remember like how ridiculous that was after the ending with Memphis? People were saying he was going to end up in Shanghai playing for the Shanghai Sharks.
Yes. He's making like $20 million.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Let's not downgrade him like that. Dylan Brooks' thing is interesting because he is annoying. Like watching it, it's just like, all right, dude, like why are you instigating this time? It's annoying. It's like, be smarter. But he is a real culture setter, and everywhere he's gone, there's proof of that. The Grizzlies, he was part of that culture that he set, where they were a 2 seed back-to-back years. The Rockets, like this new Rockets culture, before they traded Kevin Durant, he was a big part of setting that Rockets culture, which is why they kind of overpaid him in a 4-year contract. And then now with the Suns, he is a culture setter for this team. So, like, the proof is there. As much as you might hate him and his antics, he is a winning player, and a lot of teams could benefit from him. My wish list was a better whistle because they have the 3rd worst free throw rate in the entire NBA. And you want better whistle, and then you want to be better at drawing fouls from the refs. But this is a fun team. Like, there's not a lot of expectations. Devin Booker's become underrated at this point. There's just not a lot of expectations for them. They play really hard, defend well, and this is a fun group who should be in the play-in.
I'm more like-minded to Sean Brace here. I'm all in on the Dylan Brooks experience, and I'm doubling down. I'm bringing in another one that I like this trade for both sides right here. The Detroit Pistons and Phoenix Suns make a trade. The Phoenix Suns bring in Ron Holland and Javonte Green to make the money work, and the Pistons get Royce O'Neal. I think that'd be a great deal for the Pistons. It's just a shooting option like that. I think Ron Holland.
Did anyone utilize the trade machine more than you did the last 24 hours?
Dude, I was in the weeds last night. I was grinding. I was ready for this right here.
I thought you were. I actually thought you were trading for Isaiah Stewart.
That's what I thought too. Honestly.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I don't want Beef Stew going anywhere. He's staying in Detroit.
This is like Bill Simmons level trade machine activity from Sean.
I was
Bernard
cooking last night.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I was just laughing about the annoying trifecta that they have with Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, and now I don't know if you could fit Gillespie in that, but it seems like he's doing all the right dirty stuff to be out there. So the
Ron Holland cut right from that same mold, man.
That's hysterical.
Ron Holland's a great defender, so he would fit in that regard. So I mean, it's a low risk trade in my mind.
And not super important to the Pistons. Like, I think they would do that for a guy that is like a true 3-and-D winning type player like Royce O'Neal.
Pistons are too deep at this point. They need to get off some of those guys because they can't figure out their rotation because of how many guys they have to play when they're healthy.
Yeah, that is fair there. Let's transition to the Golden State Warriors. A difficult one. I had a tough time with this one. Sam Oshtry, what's your number one wish for Christmas for Golden State?
Some turnover cure. They have the fifth highest turnover rate in the NBA, and that's really contributed to some of their offensive struggles. And that's always been a thing with Curry and that team is they turn the ball over a lot, but it doesn't matter when they have that many great offensive pieces and are that great of a shooting team. They're not right now. So they need to clean up the turnovers.
Mm-hmm. Brace?
Trade Draymond to Dallas, get Clay back.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
But
That's
but
an interesting thought.
so you're getting rid of one of the big three and bringing back another?
Correct, because Clay needs to finish his career in Golden State.
I would love that.
Splash brother. Wow, what a run he had with Golden State. And I know I'm being disrespectful to Draymond, but you know where I stand on him because I was yelling about him earlier. So either trade Draymond, it's no doubt trade Draymond. It's either to Dallas to bring back Clay or trade him to Washington.
You just want him to suffer, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Keep Draymond away from Cooper Flag, please. Like that would be my pushback. This I also like feel bad for Klay Thompson, man, because he signed to play with Luka Doncic on a team that was coming off a NBA Finals run. They traded Luka, and it's just been an absolute disaster of a franchise with him being asked to play a very different role than what he was expecting to be doing. So I would like it if Klay gets traded and can go to a place that he's actually a fit in. I do have sympathy because he didn't sign up for this whatsoever. I don't think it's meant necessarily a Golden State reunion, but I certainly wouldn't hate it if that's the way that things do go down. I'll throw mine out there would be a Jonathan Kuminga trade. You just got to move him, man.
Yeah, I think that's inevitable. Both sides know that's coming January 15th when he can actually be traded.
Yeah, it's got to be something. I don't think you're getting a massive return. Sabonis this is another team I think Sabonis is a little bit interesting for because they do a lot of the dribble handoff stuff. He can be a little Draymond-like without all the extra noise right there. So I kept that in mind, but ultimately just getting off Kuminga I think would be a win for me. How about the Memphis Grizzlies, fellas? We'll start with Sean Brace here. The Ja Morant stuff continues. Where are we at on Memphis?
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. It's trade Ja.
Okay.
And see if you can get something extremely valuable in return. I'm not trying to just get rid of him, but it seems like that, you know what, everybody's done their time there and it's time to move on. I think he wants a new spot to refresh. And Ja Morant, when he was on top of his game, man, he was must-see TV. I loved watching Ja Morant play, but I haven't had that vibe in quite some time. So move Ja Morant, get yourself a nice return, maybe get a couple draft picks in this year's draft. It seems to be deep. Why not?
I had the exact same one. Get out of the Ja Morant business. It's over. They actually were playing a lot better without him when he went down with an injury. And that was when Zach Edey was their best player for stretches, but now he's out with an injury. You just got to get out of the Ja Morant business. The production isn't even there anymore. When the production has declined that much, it's like it doesn't make any of the antics, the off-court stuff, who he is as a guy worth it. It's just get out of his business.
Tough to be washed up at 26 years old, but it does feel like that's where we're at with Ja Morant right there. Definitely, I would, if you have a legitimate offer, I'm taking it from Memphis. I'm skeptical that comes to fruition right here. A couple outside the box here. Contavious Caldwell-Pope for Jonathan Kuminga, add into a pick or two that the Grizzlies do have all their draft picks. I think Kuminga is a guy that's worth taking a chance on from Memphis's perspective.
Grizzlies have like young pieces to Santiago Aldama had like 37 the other night. Like they have young pieces to be excited about. I guess I would say it's just like once you can get out of the Ja Morant business and they have to figure out what to do with Jaren Jackson, which you might address here.
Yeah, I was also going to bring up, is there a case to be made that you should sell high on Jaren Jackson Jr. right now? Because I think so.
I think if you're also getting rid of Ja, yeah. It's just like, all right, it's time to move on. Let's have some youth infusion here.
I like JJJ. He's a flawed basketball player, man. He's a really poor rebounder for his size. Like he averaged less than 5 rebounds a game last year. That can't happen when you're 6'10", dude. Like I think you have to be really calculated with his pairing. I do wonder if you can get a haul for him, and he is a useful player in the right role right there. It might be worth considering doing. So we'll transition as we get to the final few here. The Portland Trailblazers, bizarre basketball team. I went with trading away Jeremy Grant here. I also think there's a case to be made of, is it time to give up on Shaedon Sharpe? He's showing some flashes. This has been the best stretch of his career, but I'm still not sure if I fully see it with him. Where are we at on Portland for you guys? Brace, you got something there?
Well, I would say Sharpe. Didn't he have that unbelievable dunk over Russ the other night?
Oh, yeah. He's a highlight reel, dude.
Wow.
The highlights are unbelievable. The actual basketball, I think I'm a little bit less convinced on.
I would move Drew. Find a place that you could send Drew. I think he'd be a valuable piece for a team to come off the bench. You probably get a team to overspend on him. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn here. But Drew Holiday in Portland to close up his career doesn't seem right. So somewhere else, move Drew.
Sam?
I had 3-point shooting.
Okay.
This is, I believe, the second worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. They can't get anything from three, and it's really hurt their offense. Where they've honestly slipped defensively too, and I think part of that is because of the lack of offense production that they've been getting. So they just need better 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I like it. How about the Dallas Mavericks here? Sean Brace, where we at?
Oh man, that's a good one. Sam, you lead off here.
All right, I got two. A long-term point guard. Ryan Nembhard's been playing well, and I think there's still discussion whether he can be that. But I do think a long-term point guard, and we'll see what Kyrie Irving looks like when he comes back. You might want to get off him. There's a lot of question marks at that position. I think that'll help Cooper Flagg. The other thing is Cooper Flagg's been great recently, but a big part of that is because he's getting downhill more. His floater packages look good, and he's operating in the mid-range. His three-pointer has been really bad. He's shooting 24% from three. So he needs to get a three-pointer more reliable, more consistent to really elevate his offensive game.
I like
Yeah, I would say trade Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Find some way that you can get out of the Anthony Davis, a player and experience, and maybe you can go ahead and package that up and get some valuable return there. But he's just injured too often, and I wasn't a fan of that move. I don't think anybody was. But even in like the bright side of trying to pitch that deal, I never bought into it. AD out.
I had the opposite there, that I want Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg to cook together a little bit. I think the best thing for Cooper Flagg's long-term development is learning from a guy like Anthony Davis, who they're not the exact same player, but I think that they certainly share similarities, and I do believe both will have their highest impact on the defensive side of the floor right there. I would allow those two to marinate and learn and play and develop all together right there. I will free Klay Thompson, though, with this trade, and it also has to do with my Detroit Pistons once again. Sending Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall to Detroit in exchange for Jaden Ivey and Karis LeVert. Ivey, I kind of think, needs a reset that he sort of feels on the outside of things. He's not quite like the point guard of the future, but he is a guy worth taking a chance on, and I think could find his footing in Dallas right there. And Klay is another guy that I think can eat off catch and shoot looks like that.
I like that a lot, honestly. I do. I wish I had more like trade ideas for some of these picks. I tried to like think of, old players, this position, this thing that they need. I wish I had more trade ideas because I love some of these trade ideas. I think that would be a solid trade, win-win for both sides.
Yeah, I like it. I would love to see that one happen. We're going to the Final Four in the NBA right here. The Utah Jazz, who are winning more games than I think they would like to right now, the fourth worst record in the West. There's plenty of Lauri Markkanen talk. Where are we at? Sam Oshtry, I'll let you start.
They're winning more games than they would like to because they have a top 8 protected pick.
Correct.
So it's similar to the Sixers last year, the top 6 protected. They can't win enough games where they might fall in the lottery and get like the 9th or 10th pick, because then it's not even their pick. And that would be disastrous if after all this, they don't even have a first round pick in this really good upcoming draft. So they have to thread the needle right now between still competing at a high level while also losing enough games down the stretch of the season where they're one of the worst teams and have a chance to be in the top 8, but really in the top 3, which is what they want. And so it's a top pick is what they want on the wish list. But this has been a fun team to watch. And again, I love Lauri Markkanen. I'm a huge Keontae George fan. He's had a real breakout season. Ace Bailey's had up and down. He's had some moments. He hasn't been great, but he had some moments. Walker Kessler, who was out now and missing the entire season, a piece that you compare, it was like a really good quality center, like above a quality center, that you compare with a potential draft pick coming in. And Lauri Markkanen is like, this team next year, if they get lottery luck, could be a sleeper team in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Trade Ace Bailey. Give those minutes to Walter Clayton Jr. He's the real deal. He's the truth. Walter Clayton Jr. Ace Bailey out. Let's get Dubsy some more time.
Yeah, shout out to Walter Clayton Jr. I'm in a similar ballpark, Sean Brace. I'm considering trading Keontae George. Here's my case, Sam, is I do think long-term they get priced out of him. I don't really think he's like a foundational piece. I think he's far exceeded expectations this year. I think you can kind of sell high. I don't think he's their franchise piece of the future. I think you can get worse in the short term, collect some assets for the long term, and then find the guy that is actually going to lead the offense.
Why don't you think he's a part of the future? You don't think it's real what we're seeing from this year? Because it's been a real breakout.
It definitely has been. I don't fully think it's real. I don't fully buy him as like a playmaker and a guy running the offense. He's good, man. Like he just feels like one of those good but not great if he's given those type of expectations.
That's fair. I still think you got to let him develop a little more, because this is the first year where it's like, all right, this guy could be a foundational piece. So I get the notion of selling high, but I would hold off a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think they will do it, but I would give that some thought. And if the right offer flies across their desk, I would accept with in regards to Keontae. How about your New Orleans Pelicans, Sam Ostry?
My New Orleans Pelicans, a Zion trade market. That's what they
Yeah.
should be wishing for. And Zion's been playing better since he came back, and he's playing off the bench too. There's not much of a trade market that exists for him because of everything we know about his health and his availability and all that stuff. But the Pelicans just need to get off Zion Williamson, start building around Derek Queen, hope for some type of first round pick in next year's draft that you can maybe get back for that. Jeremiah Fears too, who has been playing well. I'm not the biggest fan of because of the shooting, but he's been playing well. He's absurdly athletic, can get to the hoop at will. Those are the guys you want to build around now. And so you have to build some type of Zion trade market or hope or wish for that. And have him play well, where you got to trade him by the deadline. There's no point of continuing the Zion Williamson experiment.
Jeremiah Fears got even more dog in him than I initially thought, too. The dude brings it, man. Brace, where are we at on the Pelicans?
Co-sign everything Sam just said. It's right where I'm at as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I also note, like, looking at the roster, and this is where I got to the sell high for the Atlanta Hawks on the draft pick. Like, we're talking about guys like not just Zion, but Jordan Poole, Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Yves Missy, Sadiq Bey.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talent, man. So I think you either got to decide, is this a quick retool and we're trying to at least be in the mix next year? Or should I sell some of these guys and get some draft pick capital and start that full scale?
People have apparently been calling for Herb Jones, but the asking price is too high right now. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I would consider lowering it because this is a guy who's really good and can help a lot of contending teams, but he doesn't really help you for your future.
Yeah, I think choose a direction would be my overall wish for New Orleans. Make a declaration. What direction are you going? And, follow that path. Two more. The Los Angeles Clippers are next, so I cannot believe are this far down on the list, but it has been a disastrous season. Sean Braze, how do they fix it?
Oh man, you got to do something Kawhi, right? And I just don't know what you can do. He's another one. He's just too injured too often. And
what can you get for Kawhi these days? I don't think like much.
No, that's the issues. They're in trouble. They're in trouble for a long time, and who knows what's going to happen with Ballmer? What type of draft capital they might be fined? They might lose. I don't know. Pablo finding out. But it's got to do something with Kawhi. Just try and trade Kawhi. Try and remove Kawhi from the equation here in LA.
That's what I had first was something with Ballmer's innocence or non-guilty verdict in the Ballmer and salary cap circumvention investigation.
More improbable than Embiid's knees right there.
Yeah, probably. But I actually transitioned. And I think the right answer, if you're talking about what you want for Christmas, is a time travel machine where you can go back and redo that trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, where you got rid of him and brought in Paul George and de facto Kawhi Leonard, those two pieces. Because look, in hindsight, obviously looks like an awful, disastrous trade based on how good Shai became and the Clippers' lack of success with those two guys. But everyone's doing that trade at the time because you're taking that risk for two guys who are playing at all NBA levels. So it just didn't work out. But what you want is a time machine to go back and read the future and say this isn't going to work out, so you can get Shai potential back-to-back MVP.
I like it. I think you see if you can get something for James Harden too. Like I think this is a clean house situation. I don't know.
He should not be wanting to play for some lowly team. Play for a contender in the last few years of your career.
So with that being said, I did trade him to the Sacramento Kings in this hypothetical.
As bad as it gets.
Yeah, it is. Something along the scale of a Zach LaVine sort of swap is something that I can see as a starting point. There is no fix to where the Clippers are at. Like there is no solution that I can come to. Zubac's another dude who I would absolutely consider moving, is probably the highest like potential return you can get of any player on that team. I don't really love their young guys. I don't really know how this gets fixed. The 2029 draft pick for the Sixers is going to be incredibly valuable there. I think the Clippers are pretty donezo, but you got to find a way to get something out of this year. So I'd work the trade market pretty much as heavily as possible. And we'll finish off right here with the Sacramento Kings, who I also have should trade everyone. I don't know what the direction is for that franchise. I'm trying to get some sort of influx of picks, young players, whatever the case may be. What are you guys at on the Kings?
All I put is competent ownership for a wish list, and their ownership is probably the worst in the entire league. And they just fire guys, get rid of them left and right, management, coaches, players. It's just a disastrous team. And they had a good year. They had a fun year, like the Beam, 3 seed, didn't even win a playoff series. But it's just been all downhill from there. And all you can ask for is competent ownership, because until you get that, there's no optimistic future.
Yeah, look, stop throwing the fans out that support your team. That's my one wish. I would say that, but they're not playing any defense. They stink, and that's a team that has a couple big names that you would expect them to be doing a little bit better than where they're at. I mean, a hell of a lot better than where they're at with 7 wins here on December 23rd. But I don't have much to add on that one. It seems like it's a lost cause, and it always does start at the top with the owners.
Yeah, and we will close out here with some breaking news that I just got on the timeline here for one of this. This is awesome. I'm just going to read it right here. This report from Mark J. Spears that Ben Simmons is now participating in pro fishing. That, quote, the avid fisherman is now the controlling operator of the South Florida sales of the Sport Fishing Championship. So shout out to Benny boy, still competing out there. We always know he was, a diehard competitor. Has to get the work done in the water this time.
Oh, that is so
you
good.
Were serious. I was going to my timeline, looking what's the breaking news.
What?
That did just catch my eye, and I was
that is serious. It's real.
Serious, but
it's true.
Yes,
it's a real report.
That is awesome. That is hysterical. He is by far the most despised athlete for me forever. There will never be I'm telling you right now, to the day that I die, there will never be a Philadelphia athlete that I would despise more than Ben Simmons. That bar is so high. And what he did, that heartless punk that was handed the keys to the operation and just quit, took his ball and went home, and now is fishing, and that is hysterical. And he's so desperate that he's on Instagram commenting on Sixers posts. Oh, I play for free. Oh, dude, go fish. And you know what? The best part, one of my finest memories with Ben Simmons is when we had the pandemic, the bubble, and he was fishing, and he went to throw the fish off the dock back into that little lake, and he missed the damn lake because he sucks. Oh, I love the fact that Ben Simmons is a professional fisherman.
When you said that thing about fishing, that is literally the first thing that I thought of in the bubble, where he couldn't even hit the sea with the fish.
That is hysterical. I thought he'd be playing in China. He doesn't even have the heart to do that.
No, he doesn't. That's exactly what it is. Yeah,
he doesn't need the money.
Well, to do that, to be one of the Yabusele did it for a while. Like the guys that
love ball, you have to love basketball.
Correct.
But he would get a good check, play 20 games. He'd get a damn good check because he would be a draw.
Yeah, but you gotta love playing basketball. He never did. You're
right.
He's the biggest waste of natural talent I've seen in my entire life. Like that dude. He's 28 years old right now, man. Like he should be in the prime of his NBA career. Wow. This dude should be a surefire Hall of Famer, and he just didn't put the pieces together. Didn't want it. You can't make a guy want it.
Cut to Colin Cowherd going, LeBron. We got this. Ben Simmons is the league right now.
That's all time.
Yeah, but shout out to Ben Simmons for the future professional fishing career here. Shout out to you guys for rocking with
Megapod today. It's a Megapod. Take you through Christmas.
I believe this is our longest pod yet. So, Bryce, appreciate
we talked about the Wizards, the Pelicans, the Kings, the Clippers. I mean, the worst of the worst. We talked about them. Unbelievable. Thank you, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button wherever you are listening at. If that is on the Pick Swap Media YouTube page, the Gambler Gang YouTube page, on any of our socials, make sure you're tossing a follow. Make sure to get involved in the conversation, interact wherever you guys are listening at. So appreciate you guys once again. Me and Sam are going to be back next week after a busy Christmas of basketball and plenty more to get into. So we're hitting the home stretch of the season, and we'll be back talking with you next time right here on the Pace and Space podcast. Peace.